Well, good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm your host, Jim Tabor, along with Drs. Jim and Janine Fox of Doctor's Nutrition, located on Calhoun Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. We do this every Monday morning. It is a live call-in show, and we invite you to call in and talk about any particular topic that we do pick. But this week, being it's the first Monday of the month, we always do what we call Open Line Monday. So any kind of health issues you may be having, you're welcome to pick up the phone, give us a call, 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Those phone lines are open to you. You pass the question along to our producer, and they'll be happy to pass it along to us. Everybody doing well? Doing well, Jim?
Yeah.
Doing well.
Good.
He's doing really good.
Good.
Really
Good
good.
here.
Yeah.
So notice when you're walking in the door, you seem to be doing a lot better, a little more spry in your step.
Oh, yeah. Much better, much better, much better.
Well, good. Well, good. So anyway, one of the big issues is this is being allergy season. I mean, you walk outside and from one day washing your car, or I could say for one morning washing your car, by the afternoon it's yellow.
It is all, yes.
I'm sure the y'all are getting a lot of folks coming in.
We are. We're getting tons of people coming in complaining of allergies, and there's no doubt there's some stuff you can do for allergies. We have a few things that they're kind of our go-to for allergies. And one is something called Allergena. Allergena is a liquid that is all the trees, plants, and flowers in this area. Well, depending on what part of the country you're in, we have different groups for different areas, but Zone 2 is the area around here, and it actually desensitizes you to the allergens. And it really does work well, especially when people are getting dizziness from their allergies. It seems to really help that. When people start saying they get vertigo and dizziness and they think it's the allergies, Allergena works really well. We also have something called DN Allergy Support, which is like your natural antihistamine. And it works good too, and it doesn't make you feel weird, it doesn't make you drowsy, it doesn't, none of that. So the good thing about it is it can help your allergy symptoms, but without making you feel funny.
I know a lot of the across-the-counter medications that you can get for allergies do have a tendency to make you a bit drowsy.
A little drowsy, right.
A lot of them make you drowsy,
complaint.
yes. And so we hear that a lot. So it is something that you can do, and it does work well. And right now, it is that time of the year.
All right. Well, we had some questions that were emailed in, and we have some callers, but one of them that was emailed in this past week. I've been having a hard time swallowing certain foods lately. What could it be, and should I be concerned about it?
Well, I mean, that's something always, anytime you see a change in something like that, it's time to be concerned or pay attention. Is it you're not chewing well? A lot of times we see that, or people, a solid food, or that they don't chew well enough.
Something like rice.
Or eating too fast.
Or eating too fast. There's a lot of things that can go into that. But at the same time, it's something you want to get checked out. I mean, you want to think about it. Like I say, first look at the common stuff like, I remember when we were in kids, a long, long time ago in school, they told us to chew our food. I think it was 20 times or something like that.
Yeah.
Some goofy number or something like that. You're munching along stuff. But anyhow, you want to look at that first. Make sure you are chewing your food properly. If it's just certain foods, look and see if it's more solid foods. If it is, might be a chewing issue. Could be a problem with teeth or gums or something like that.
It could be the esophagus that actually
That
gets
was
kind of
my issue.
a stricture of the esophagus, and that
Right.
can make a big difference in if that to get it stretched, you have to go see your GI doctor. So that is something the GI doctor can do. And so when it comes to that, like I said, digestive enzymes aren't quite, because really it's before it gets down to the stomach. So if you're doing that and it's regular, now if it's one time, it might have just been a fluke, but if it's constant, you might want to go see about it.
Now, my father had that issue. I had that issue, and eventually had to go get my throat stretched.
Yeah.
Made a world of difference.
Oh, yeah.
Caller, have there been any new advancements for tendonitis?
Probably one of the biggies is the laser. The laser treatment is probably one of the best things, and we've used it. We've got a class 4 laser at our office, and we do use it on things like tendonitis and a lot of other muscle and tendon problems. Works great, and that's probably the latest thing that's out there.
Yeah, the latest is definitely the lasers work great for tendonitis. There are some supplements that we've used. It's not necessarily a new advancement, but one of the new advancements might be SPM.
Yeah.
SPM is the special pro-resolving mediators, which definitely help with inflammation. And that's what tendonitis is. Look at the name of it. Itis means inflammation, and it's inflammation of the tendon. So that is usually from an overuse. Now, when you look at almost all tendonitis, it's usually from doing a repetitive motion. I always tell people, try to figure out which motion is causing the problem and change what you do. If it's something you're doing while you're working, change how you do it. And it's hard at first because people get into a routine and they're used to doing something the same way. That's usually what causes tendonitis, is a repetitive motion.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to look at what's causing it. Bromelain's always been something we've went to that can help as well.
That's
so
a good
the
anti-inflammatory.
SPM, the bromelain, we even have something called Phyto-4. So we do have a lot of the natural anti-inflammatories that you can use with it, but the laser, I think laser really works. And we've never promoted that we have a laser because we really, we're pretty busy.
That's a good thing.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
it's because like, okay, we're kind of busy, and so we kind of got it for ourselves, but we do have a laser, and so if you are interested, just let us know.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it really does work.
Another caller, I have issues with arthritis. When I eat certain foods, it flares up. What, can this be an issue?
Oh,
You
definitely.
Sure can. Yeah. The nightshades are probably one of the biggies
Yep.
that's talked about a lot for that. Your potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, all the
Eggplant.
good stuff. But they really can, in an individual that's sensitive to it, they can make a major
Yeah.
impact.
Now, your gluten has always been shown to be inflammatory. And so the gluten also, especially in something like rheumatoid arthritis,
Yes.
we find with people with rheumatoid, to control it naturally, especially, they have to get off of gluten products. And so we see that a lot. And, you know, sugar is inflammatory as well. So just kind of what we talk about every day. I mean, and if you really want to go on there are some anti-inflammatory diets out there, and they are really strict, but they will help.
The FODMAP is probably one of the better ones.
Yep.
And it's FODMAP.
And actually, the AIP diet is really hard
really
to
good,
follow, but it really does help that inflammation.
When she says hard to follow, she means
It is. It restricts everything. So,
yeah.
but the AIP diet's also a good one
Yeah.
if you have arthritis.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to do research sometime and see exactly how many diets there are.
Oh, there's tons.
Oh, thousands.
Tons.
Everybody, we could come up with one and call it,
Because I was looking
Jim and
at
Jim's
something.
diet,
I was looking at something they called the Mind Diet.
Mind diet?
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah.
It was just.
If you don't mind, it don't matter?
Yeah, exactly. And it's,
About
it has the letter stand for stuff, but it's about reducing dementia. And if you
Okay.
look, it is a combination of probably the Mediterranean diet with maybe even like it's a couple diets combined is what it is.
Yeah.
And again, no matter what kind of diet they say is beneficial, it's always get off of packaged processed foods,
Sugar.
lower your sugar intake. I mean, that's no matter which diet. They might say, okay,
Yep.
some avoid this food where other ones say no. You know, so sometimes the food avoidance is a little different, but they all say get off of packaged processed foods.
All right. It's 8 minutes after 9 o'clock on this Monday morning. We will have our phones open to you at 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. It's Open Line Monday. We'll be back with our next segment in just a moment. And welcome back to the second segment of our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. It's Open Line Monday, so we are taking any questions you might have regarding your health 10 minutes after 9 o'clock. What are complications of vitamin D deficiencies? I mean, I know a lot of people saying that they don't like getting out in the sun or anything like that, but
Yeah, I mean, literally, there's so many that it would take probably an hour show to go through all of them. But basically, just general health. I mean, look at it from that way, because everything from your hormones, and we're talking about all the various hormones in the body, not just the testosterone, estrogen, and so on. A lot of other things are involved in it too. Over 1,000 different genes that we know of, and we're learning more every day, but over 1,000 are modulated or controlled by vitamin D.
Yeah. And vitamin D itself is a hormone.
It's a hormone by
So
itself.
they call it vitamin, but it is a hormone that the
Yeah.
body produces. And one of the biggest things we see a lot are people that are fatigued and hurting all over.
Yeah.
So fatigue and hurting all over is one of the signs of a vitamin D deficiency. Also getting sick easily. They definitely have linked vitamin D deficiency to more likely getting cancer. So it definitely increases your cancer risk. It lowers your immune system. It affects pain. It affects energy levels. It affects
and they can come in and just get the
bone
vitamin-
density.
vitamin D level.
Oh, yeah.
It affects bone density. I mean, so you look at it, affects, just like he said, almost everything.
A few years ago, there was a study that came out, and actually, the name of the study was, is it chronic fatigue syndrome or vitamin D deficiency, basically. And because those people responded so well. And let me point out, this is one of those times when you look at the medical range, it goes from like 30 nanograms all the way up to 100 nanograms. That, if you're in there, if you've got 31, you're in range. But this is something that you need to look for optimal health. Optimal means not just 31, like out of 100. You got to be up there around that 50, 60, maybe even 70.
55 to 85 is probably your most optimal range on vitamin D. Now, it doesn't mean run out and take tons, because we see a lot of people lately with too high a vitamin D because they're overdoing it. And it's usually they're taking a pretty high dose. It ain't just a little bit that most of them are taking that show really high. So vitamin D does need to be optimal, and the only way you know that is to test it.
Yeah.
And we do vitamin D testing. I want to say it's either
35, I think.
either 35 or about $35, I think, to actually have just it tested.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, if they supplement, then you test it 3 months later, see where it is. And we've mentioned on the show a few times that you really want to check vitamin D, even if it's good, twice a year. You want to check it in the winter, you want to check it in the summer, because it changes. Like right now, I've had a few people that's been below that 55 optimal, but I'm like, okay, next month, sun's coming, you know what I mean? Or you're going to be outside more soon.
It's going to be in the 80s this week.
Yeah, it's going to, sun's going to be here more, so you're going to start rising just from going in and out of your house, going back and forth to the car. I mean, even getting out that little bit helps some. So we definitely see the lowest levels during the winter.
Yeah. All right, another question. I'm in my 20s, and all of a sudden, after years of no issue, my face is breaking out with acne. Am I missing some nutrition in my diet?
Well, I mean, it's not all what. I'm sure that almost all 20-year-olds are missing something.
Too much chocolate.
Yeah.
You would break out.
That's more about the sugar, really.
Yeah, probably more the sugar, because sugar does feed yeast, and yeast does make acne. Now, there's different types of face breakouts, and it depends on where it is. I always tell people, if it's like where a beard would be, like from here, then it's usually hormonal. There in the back and the chest, and where a beard is. If it's there, it's hormonal.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt we have things. DIM works really good for hormonal acne. Now, if it's more your cheeks and more of the forehead and more of those little pimply-like things, that is more either bacterial or fungal, and we use Olivir. Olivir works really good for that.
Which is that olive leaf extract?
Yeah.
Right.
So we do have things, and I always tell any of the 20-year-olds, they usually don't wash their face enough. So wash your face.
Or deep
twice
clean
a day.
it enough, yeah.
Exactly. They don't. Yeah, they might wash it a little bit, but get a really good cleaner that cleans. Yeah.
All right, let's see, we have two questions actually. How does the laser you were previously talking about work to help with tendinitis? And is anything to help with sleeping with tendinitis? And does stress make it worse? If it does, how do you manage it? Stress makes everything worse.
It does. Stress does make everything worse.
I can answer that
I was
one.
going to say, if you come up with the answer to number 3, we're all going to we're in good shape. You know, the laser actually is what it does is being able to put a heat into the area, deep into that area. Like the tendon's not on the surface of your skin, so you have to get deep into that tissue. And if you put surface heat on, you know, you get some radiation heat in through the skin and into the tissues, but you can't usually get it deep enough and stimulate that tissue enough to where it'll actually do some healing process.
Right.
That's the
and
issue.
it brings in blood flow to the area so that
Yeah.
it can heal.
Yeah.
So it really does make a big difference. Now, the second part was sleeping with tendinitis. To me, the best thing to do for sleeping with tendinitis is get rid of the tendinitis, because it hurts. And if you're hurting, it is harder to sleep.
Yep.
Now, something like that Phyto-4 that I mentioned, it is more of a fast-acting anti-inflammatory. So doing something before you go to bed like that could help, because it helps the pain. So really, and even the SPM, now it's more of a longer-term thing that you do all the time, but the Phyto-4 is quick-acting.
Yeah.
It is actually kind of more of your natural ibuprofen, you know, and so it does really help with that, and bromelain does as well. So a lot of people that take those for tendinitis take them at bedtime so that they can sleep better. And that's and we have all kind of stuff for sleep, but you really want to help the pain, and if that's the problem, you want to help the problem.
And sometimes it's positional too. You know, if there's a certain position that you can get into, you know, depending on where the tendinitis is, that might help as far as sleep.
Yeah, you don't want to put pressure and make it irritated by the way you sleep. So you want to look at that as well.
Right.
And like I said, stress makes everything worse. It's not really, You don't see that everybody that gets stressed has tendonitis, so it's not the only thing. But if you already have tendonitis,
No, we lose hair.
it's probably, if you already have tendonitis, it's definitely going to make it worse. Anything with stress makes it worse.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, 896-0713, 800-349-0713. It's almost 17 after 9 o'clock. How can I tell if I'm getting too much iron every day?
Test.
Blood test.
Blood test, okay.
Test, because there's two different parts of iron as well. There's not just the iron in the bloodstream, there's also the storage. So we test, you can test the iron panel, tell what's in the bloodstream, see what kind of saturation the cells have, and then you have ferritin, which is your stored iron. You can actually have one that's not good and one that is. So you can actually have it to where the ferritin goes up, but the iron is down in the bloodstream. That's usually from an inflammatory process of some sort. So then you got to do something about that inflammation to help get the iron back into the bloodstream. So iron is not just a fact of just taking iron, and it's just not one component. There's a few components to it.
Right.
All right. It's 17 minutes after 9 o'clock. We're going to take a break and come back with this week's special. And we have more questions from callers, so stay tuned. And welcome back. It's 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's our final segment of this morning's Doctor's Nutrition live show. Let's go ahead and look at this week's special, if we could, please.
Yeah, it's DN Allergy Support. We talked about it a little earlier when we mentioned the allergies around here. So we just thought it would be a good time to put it on sale where everybody can try it to see if it does help with your allergy symptoms.
All right.
Yep, and this week, just to let you know, that's the special, but we are closed on Friday and Saturday this week.
Okay.
For Easter.
Right.
So just to let you know, the special will still run if you ordered online.
Yes.
But we only are going to be there Monday through Thursday this week, and then we'll be back on Monday. So we're not closed Easter Monday. We are closed Good Friday and Saturday.
And the two of you will be there Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, yep.
Right.
And Dr. Bull's there all week.
All right.
Yep.
Another caller with a question. I have congestive heart failure. I was told to exercise more to help, and I was wondering if it is possible to exercise too much.
Yes. With congestive heart failure, your heart is not pumping adequately is one of the problems. Now, you definitely want to exercise, but you don't want to overdo it, because if you overdo it, then again, it's like any muscle that you overwork. It starts getting more fatigued, and then it won't pump as well. So you do want it, and you work up to it. You start low, and then you increase it. So you start at like 5 minutes, and then maybe go to 7 minutes, and then maybe go to 10 minutes. And you do want to work up to where you do 30 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week, which is what we've talked about on the exercise show that we did a few weeks ago. So you do want to get up to exercising more, but if you do too much too quick, then you're going to quit. That's like everybody.
And there's a lot of nutrients. If you got congestive
Yes.
heart failure, there's a lot of nutrients that you really need to be looking at. I know you've probably heard about coenzyme Q10, and that's one that really, I mean, now, taking 100 milligrams a day is not going to do it. You're going to have to get into some pretty big therapeutic doses, but it can very definitely make a huge impact on how that heart functions.
Yeah, the L-carnitine is really good, the ribose, the CoQ10. There's so many things that actually have been shown to help the heart function better, and even DMG. So all those are really good to actually help with getting that muscle back where it's supposed to be.
Right.
All right. 22 minutes after 9 o'clock. I know we talk a lot about probiotics.
We do.
Is there any foods that we can add to our diet that has probiotics or prebiotics in them?
Well, prebiotics are just fibers, but and there's a lot of
And
different.
actually, onions and garlic are prebiotics.
Yeah.
And chicory is a really good prebiotic. In New Orleans, they use that in their coffee. Around here, not as much, but it really is good for
My dad used to
prebiotic.
say it'd grow hair on your chest.
It will do that. I promise you. But the big thing is, when you're looking at that, like I say, the fermented foods. Sauerkraut. I mean, I used to, when I was a kid, we had to make that stuff. It's horrible stuff. But anyhow, love it. But those kind of foods are really good to eat.
Yeah, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, fermented foods.
Fermented pickles, things like that.
Fermented grapes?
I've never.
Fermented.
Oh, that's wine. Yeah, that's all. I had to think about that one for a
Actually,
second. I was like, fermented grapes.
Little morning humor there. The tendonitis saga continues.
Oh, okay.
This is part 2. The 2 supplements that you were speaking about that help with tendonitis, are they prescription medications? And what are the name of those supplements?
No, they're not prescription, but we do have them. They're Phyto 4 and SPM.
Yeah, SPM is a
special pro-resolving mediators.
right. It's a derivative of your fish oil, omega-3 fish oil, but it's actually something our body takes omega-3 fish oil and makes SPMs in our body. That's how it was discovered, and they found out that these things are integrally they're so important in the inflammatory process that it's just amazing. As a matter of fact, it kind of blew away the researchers when they got into it. They're like, oh my God, what have we stumbled on here? And they literally had stumbled onto it. But yeah, they found out that it was extremely important, and that is something that can help. But it's a long-term thing, like she said. It's not fast like the Phyto-4. Phyto-4 is a combination of various nutrients or anti-inflammatories. Works great.
Yep.
I've take it myself.
Yeah, I take it myself too. But
yeah,
actually, now bromelain's another one. We mentioned well, and just two.
Yeah.
Bromelain, over the
take
years, people might have the best results with tendinitis with bromelain, which is actually an enzyme from pineapple.
Right.
So it eats up even the proteolytic enzyme. So there's a lot of different things. You can come by our store. We'll show you which ones there are, and then you can kind of see which one might fit you the best.
Yeah. Keep in mind too, whenever you do go by and visit with Doctors Nutrition, there's no charge for consultation. You don't need an appointment. You might have to wait a few minutes, but still, it's a great way to find out where you are and then to see about getting some blood work done. Another question, 25 now after 9 o'clock. What medicines can deplete your vitamin D levels?
I don't know of anything directly depleting it.
Well, there's things like obesity depletes it.
Yeah,
they
but that's
do
not
know that. Not being out in the sun depletes it. That's some of the biggest things that deplete vitamin D is not getting it in the first place.
Right.
Now, there are a lot of medications that deplete certain nutrients, but for some reason, that's one that haven't really looked up because so many people that come in are depleted, and it's usually not from a medication they're on. It's probably from an activity, not going outside, or having darker skin, or being obese, or something like that.
Yeah, I've never seen any research on a particular medication or anything that depletes it.
Yeah.
That I've seen.
Okay. Another acne question. I'm 70 years old.
Yeah.
I've never had acne before. Now it has appeared on my chin. Nothing I take seems to help relieve it. Any suggestions would be helpful.
Are you sure that it's acne would be the first thing I would say.
Yeah.
Because
I used to get an ingrown hair that I thought
well, no,
was
that's a
acne.
possibility.
I was like, you want to make sure it's acne. If you are local, you can come by and we will look at it for you.
Yeah, it'd be interesting whether it's male or female.
Yeah, male or female, and it does matter what you might be taking. If you are taking hormone replacement, testosterone can increase acne.
Definitely.
Or even DHEA at high levels can increase acne. So it depends on if you're taking something. Sometimes questions aren't just cut and dry. You got to find out more about the person and more about what's going on with them.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
And with a 70-year-old that's never had it, you got to get a little deeper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
896-0713, 800-349-0713. We have about a minute left in this morning's show, and don't have any more questions that were emailed in.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Very well.
Next week, what are we talking about?
We're going to be talking about something that's really important to all of us, and that's the spike protein. I know you all heard of it, and whether you've had COVID itself or whether you've just had the vaccines, you're dealing with your body is dealing with the spike proteins. And we're going to talk about ways that you can protect yourself against some of the problems that some of the spike proteins have been accompanied with.
Because the new research that's coming out is even pointing to increased cancer risks if you've had COVID because of the spike protein.
Right.
It's actually a lot of stuff's happening now in health because of what COVID has done to everybody. So we're going to talk about what you can do to protect yourself from some of the
and there's
spike
some
proteins.
Really good research.
Some good research. It's not just
really
us
good.
saying it. It's based on research that's come out recently.
All right. Well, join us next Monday morning then at 9 o'clock, and we will see you then. Have yourself a wonderful week.
For more information on highlighting your business and services on Healthy Living South Mississippi, contact Jim Tabor at 896-1313.